5 hours of sunshine once a week, one Saturday morning. Sorry, that was from one of those old Saturday morning cartoon blocks that ABC used to do. Right around the time I think Disney bought them years ago. They actually had some really good shows like Pepper Ann and Recess. Recess was an awesome show. But it's going to probably be a topic for a different day. But that's a different day, and not today. Because today is a happy Saturday, everybody. Yep. We're at Saturday. And it's actually really cold right now, which is kind of why I'm not at Cuckoo Lake yet. But don't worry, I'll be heading up there probably later on this afternoon. But, yeah. You know, last night was awesome. I finally tried the 5-layer gelati from Rita's. From the red, that is red, white, and blue to celebrate Independence Day. So, you know what? I got that off my bucket list. They're going to be really promoting the 5-layer gelati throughout the month of July. So there's still time to get another one. But you never know. Well, at least for the Rita's that's in Horseheads. I can't really speak for any other Rita's location or locations I can think of. I mean, I know there's definitely one in Gettysburg because I went to Gettysburg College. That's why I would know that. But anyway, let's talk about, there's probably something you've noticed for a good while, and that's the fact that I always put a link to the history of Pokemon competitive battling. All of you guys are probably wondering, why are you doing that? I don't really care about Pokemon. I mean, it's nice to sort of relive that nostalgia trip. Why would you put those links in the videos? Well, I thought it'd be kind of obvious, seeing as how this November, the newest Pokemon games that are coming out will be the first games that will ever be on an actual console. You know, the Nintendo Switch. They're not going to be, handheld like they always used to be. And the fact that these particular games are going to be remakes of the Generation 1 games, Red, Blue, Yellow, basically with the first 150 Pokemon, and the fact that I thought the timing would actually be, the timing couldn't be better. So that's why you're getting a new video every day in the links, obviously. But I guess I put this on long enough. I should probably tell you why Pokemon always fascinates me. Well, foremost, whether it's the show, the anime, or, the games, or to a much lesser extent the trading cards. I mean, I did used to collect cards, and of course I do have a holographic Charizard and such, but honestly that stuff never really interested me about them. What does fascinate me the most is, in the end, they're creatures that range from being cute to creepy or scary looking, and they're fighting each other. Honestly, I didn't really ask for much, and in that regard, I got what I wanted. Sometimes when watching the anime, you get more. Because with animation, you're able to, do more with it. And that's awesome. But you guys are probably wondering what I think about the games. Well, one thing I never really did care for is, unless you have 2 Game Boys, a trading cable, or in this day and age, you can trade over via Wi-Fi connection. Unless you have 2 games, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta trade to be able to get some of the best ones, including the starters. So, yeah, that can be annoying, but since I'm a lonely loser who has no friends whatsoever, I do have 2 of each, so Yay, I get the starters every time I do anything. Awesome. Hey, at least it picks out half of the team of 6 I'm going to use throughout the game. That's always nice. Although, one fun trick that I used to do, especially if I ever replay the Generation 1 games, well, the Generation 1 and 2 games on my computer via emulator, is a Pokemon that I always definitely try and go for is the tried and true reliable Alakazam. And so, because the Psychic type Pokemon was always very overpowered, in fact, in a lot of ways it still is, I always say, ladies and gentlemen, I have now beaten the game. If I ever use a Pokemon like Gengar or Machamp, I like to say, ladies and gentlemen, I have now beaten the game 2-fold or 3-fold or 4-fold if I include Golem as well. And the starters making that 7-fold. Basically, if you know how to trade it yourself, it's easy to do. But one of the main reasons why I still play, and this is where it really does get a lot of fun, is starting from Generation 5, which is the Unova region, which I don't think any of you guys would really know unless you really pay attention to Pokemon like I do, is, well, throughout the main series of the games, there were items called TMs. It's basically, in an RPG, you have a way of sort of mixing and matching what weapons you can give your character or whatever, and basically TMs are essentially those kinds of weapons. And basically, any Pokemon that can learn a TM, well, I should back up. Basically, what I'm trying to get to, ladies and gentlemen, TMs are unlimited now. We now live in a day and age where you can use a TM like Toxic over and over and over and over and over again. And believe me, Toxic is a TM, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're a Pokemon that can learn any TM at all, that's not Wobbuffet, you can learn Toxic. It's that useful. But I'm also getting ahead of myself. Although he does eventually talk about Wobbuffet in the history of competitive gaming. But that's going to be probably a little down the line from now. He does a video every like Sunday, and I'm trying to put the links to these videos so it coincides to right around the time when the new games for the Switch are about to come out. So there's always that. You got a good while to go. I mean, November. I'll probably make it last till at least September. I think it's going to work out. But then again, what do I know? I never been keep counting necessarily. I just look at the library on that site and see what's next. But yeah. So the fact that TMs are unlimited now, and we live in a day and age where that's possible, you know, you can come up with so many crazy combinations for how you want to do your playthrough, or playing competitively, you can do that. That's just plain awesome. But now for two of the biggest questions that you guys are probably wondering right now. Who is my favorite Pokemon and why? To be perfectly honest, I don't really have a favorite. Really, I don't. I mean, there are some Pokemon I definitely think a lot more about than others. And I can most certainly attest to the fact that there are some Pokemon that are just plain terrible to use. Although, then again, I knew they were bad from the beginning, so I didn't use them. But when the general consensus is that they are terrible and don't use them, I pretty much follow in those footsteps. So, no, I don't really have a favorite. There are some I think about more than others. In fact, there are some that I wish were in the Super Smash Bros. Games. That would be awesome, but from what I hear, creating those games involves a lot of math that's far more complicated than anything that... Sorry, something's wrong with my throat. It's far more complicated than anything I could possibly ever hope to fathom. So I'm not going to try and ruin my brain, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to do that. I shouldn't have to do that if I don't have to. But, yeah. I don't really have a favorite. And the newest question is, with these new Pokemon games coming out on the Nintendo Switch, being essentially remakes of the first games, there was only 150, and your starter is either only Pikachu or Eevee. Which game are you going to get, and by extension, which starter are you going to use? Well, I am going to try them both out just to see. Because I do like Pikachu, because, Pikachu's the mascot. Pikachu's the man. Or man, I should say. So, how do I not deny that? And then, of course, there's Eevee. Eevee is cuteness incarnate. And all of its evolutions, all 8 of them, as of today, are also cuteness incarnate in many different ways, shapes, and forms. Of course, with it being remakes of Generation 1, you're going to get Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Possibly Espeon and Umbreon, if by chance if they are allowing a certain evolutionary mechanic in these new Switch games. And the thing about these particular starters, Eevee and Pikachu, are, with Eevee, you're not really going to get the greatest use unless you find a way to evolve it as soon as possible. And with this being remakes of Gen 1, and the fact that you can only use evolutionary stones to evolve Eevee, at least if they are only doing 150, the original 150, you're not really going to get a lot of great options in terms of what moves the evolutions, is what everyone calls them, can use until later on down the line. So there's that. And then there's Pikachu. Pikachu is one of those Pokemon that really competitively is not very good. In fact, you're going to be seeing a video on that on a later date. But Pikachu can learn its moves as a Pikachu. See, Pokemon like Pikachu and Eevee, you can evolve as soon as possible. But the thing about Pikachu evolving into Raichu is it doesn't really learn any moves unless you use TMs. Which, thankfully, we do live in a day and age when TMs are unlimited, as I said before. But originally, whatever level you evolved to Pikachu, it evolved to a Raichu. Unless you had TMs, it couldn't learn anything else. It was almost essentially useless in that regard. But, again, TMs are unlimited now, so hey, go nuts. And that's really all I have to say about that. I am really looking forward to the Switch games. I'm going to play myself, and my brother and his wife or my sister-in-law, they're going to play too, so it's going to be just like the old days, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support on YouTube. I'm humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy today. I'm hopeful you all have a wonderful day today. It's Saturday. How can it not go wrong? How could it go wrong, right? And I probably just jinxed myself. Anyway, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'm always going to have your back. So take care, everybody.